Good afternoon. This is Mike Stieben, Leavenworth County Commissioner from southern part of the county, Linwood, Tonganoxie area, and the western part. And we're here today with Tom Cole, our Leavenworth County Economic Development Director, and we're going to talk about some of the trends and some of the things that have been happening. And Mr. Cole's been in charge of economic development in the county here for about 2 years. And welcome, Tom.
Thank you for having me. Commissioner Stieben asked me to talk in general terms about what's going on in the Kansas economy right now. And Leavenworth County obviously tends to follow the state of Kansas economy. Where we're at right now is we're going to be talking about some data that we received from Wichita State University Center for Economic Development and Business Resource. The 2024 outlook for the Kansas state economy is generally pretty positive. Most economists look at the national economy and believe that it will contract or slow down to some degree. Very few of those economists project that Kansas will actually slow down. So that is great optimism as we sit here today, and great optimism for the county and the state. Production is going to continue to lead the way as the Kansas economy goes. Producing, manufacturing, agricultural products, those are all anticipated to continue to go very well this year. Services are also expected to increase. Services like banking, accounting, healthcare, things along those lines, things where you go necessarily walk out with a tangible product. Those are anticipated to expand as well. The biggest concern on a statewide level would be nominal income. That is a concern. Wages have not kept up with inflation. Inflation is not declining. The rate at which it is growing has certainly declined, but inflation itself has not declined. 2023, the Kansas inflation rate has been 19.7%. And I'm sure everybody at home can look at their bills and what it costs to go to the grocery store and have things done. See that increase of roughly 19.7% statewide. The national average happens to be about 19%. So Kansas, in this case, as far as inflation goes, is actually slightly higher in the short term, but we anticipate that to come down at a much more rapid rate than say other parts of the country.
So Tom, why don't you give a little bit, as we continue this discussion, a little bit of your background?
Yeah, absolutely.
In economic development.
Absolutely. We can take a little time out for that. I've been a career economic developer for the past 30 years. Now, during that time, I've worked with large cities and small cities and government agencies. But also I took a better part of a decade off and was a commercial general contractor, worked on very large construction projects. But even during that time, I still maintained and provided economic development services to our clients through the construction industry. And that really kind of affords me, I think, an unusual skill set to where I've not only been the guy who administers economic development within a local government, but I've also been that guy who's applied to local governments and gone through permitting processes and understands how really both sides of the table come together. Also during that time, I spent some time as a private developer doing affordable housing developments throughout the Midwest and economic development consulting and whatnot. But I really love it here in Leavenworth County, and I really think that we have a lot of things going for us in a bright future.
And you came on board about 2 years ago now, and that was the product of a committee process that we had, that we figured that something new and some new direction for economic development, because we're really concerned that we have a lot of housetops, but we're not getting as much commercial, we're not getting much industrial, and when we have 35% of the county that's tax exempt here in North County, the burden of those taxes falls right on the folks that are writing those checks and are, as we speak, they're getting their valuation notices.
That's right.
You came on, and we currently have a structure going on for 40 or 50 years now. Can you kind of explain to folks what we currently have for economic development in the county?
Absolutely, and I'll put myself last in this. We have Leavenworth County Development Corporation, and they're really charged with and they're a public-private entity, or they receive some public funding. But they're an outside economic development agency that works on behalf of the county and the cities within the county to really go out, and theirs is intended primarily to be industrial or large manufacturing type operations. And they're doing a solid job chasing those projects. We also have the Port Authority, which also has some statutory abilities and powers to borrow funds and to own property and develop things on their own as well. The cities each have their own economic development agendas and priorities as well. And then I was brought on really to supplement all those things and essentially to be a utility player to assist any of those entities or organizations or communities in attaining their goals. But outside of, while LCDC and the Port Authority primarily chase those manufacturing or industrial type projects, I help our local entrepreneurs with small business concerns, pursue retail strategies, policy issues, and really a whole slew of other things. But we also have an in-house real estate database, as does LCDC. Ours is a little bit different. Ours is a little bit heavier on the analytics and market evaluations and market studies than theirs. Theirs is a little bit more geared specifically toward real estate availability. So ours is a little more flexible, but we work very well together and supplement one another on those fronts as well.
And at the commission meeting today, you kind of gave us your overall economic development strategy.
We really started talking about a strategic plan for economic development, which includes all the entities that I just mentioned, as well as the individual communities and cities. And we're probably at a 70% draft in that. I need to go back and talk to the communities and reassure some things and reaffirm some things. But I think we're finally going to have kind of everything that we do in one document that's pretty easy to read and pretty easy to understand.
So if I was bringing development or economic, if I had a company I wanted to come into Leavenworth County, I could reach out to you and you would be able to
absolutely
put me in touch with
100%
the right people.
100%.
And that's what we want. We want it to be easy to develop as far as development in the county, as far as housing, and as far as that kind of. We want to make it as little regulatory interference as possible, while we maintain, of course, safety. But on the economic development front, we want to be business friendly, but we want to be also cognizant of the traditions, values, and the rural nature of a lot of the county. So so it's always a balance. But back in October, we did attend this economic development trends meeting. It was called the Kansas Economic Outlook Conference, and that's kind of what you started your comments about. Where are we in a recession, or are we is Kansas? Where's the stance as far as Kansas compared to other states?
Compared to other states, we're actually sitting pretty well. The good thing about being in Kansas is that we are a bit insulated from the dramatic shifts and swings that you typically see in the coast and in much larger communities. So it's not quite, we're not quite back to business as usual. COVID took a big hit out of the national and global economies. We're not quite back to where we were, but we're getting pretty darn close at this point. And right now our biggest battles are going to continue to be with that inflation number. And getting prices may not come down. Prices rarely come down. We've got to get that rate of inflation to drop.
I was in Washington, D.C. a couple of weeks ago, and we actually had President Biden came in and spoke, and he said that prices have come down. And several commissioners that were there were saying, well, I'm not sure where he's going to the store, but where I've been, prices have not come down.
Really, the only deflation of prices that I think everybody can see from time to time, obviously not consistency, would be the price of gas. It has a tendency to drop based on supply and demand, but most other goods that are out there, we have not seen prices drop.
So when we're looking at Leavenworth County and these trends that we've seen, and we know that in DeSoto they're going to put this battery plant is coming, and we're looking at finding a way to kind of build a guidepost for the future.
Absolutely.
Where are we at on the economy, and what are some of the things that we need to do?
Right now where we're at is I think we have a number of available properties that I think are somewhat appealing to industries that are out shopping right now and businesses that are looking for new spaces. Relative to the Panasonic project, I think where Leavenworth County can really come in is on the housing side. And I think we are going to see some new housing starts that are directly attributed to the Panasonic plant that's going to have roughly 8,000 employees. And a lot of those people are going to have to come here from other places. We may or may not pick up a supplier or two that comes into service and supply to the Panasonic plant. But I think it's definitely going to bode us well on the housing investment and housing side of that equation.
So, well, I appreciate you taking the time to give this information to folks. We'll do it again periodically and see where we're at. But once again, Tom Cole, Economic Development Director, Leavenworth County. And if you have any questions, he's always in his office here and available to visit with anyone about economic development, the growth, and things that are happening here in the county. But once again, Commissioner Mike Stieben, 5th District from the south part of the county. Feel free to reach out to me as well. And we're going to try to see these patterns and growth challenges through and see hopefully more commercial, more economic growth, more development that can offset some of those high taxes.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.